Good morning, Steve Obridge here for another Facebook Live. I know that there's a whole bunch of you that are just going to come on. I haven't done this before. I try and share to a group, but I'm actually going to try and do it where I share into my group and just see how that works, because I haven't done that before. So let me just share into a group and see how that works. I guess it will work. Let's see. Now I've got to figure out how to get out of here, of course. Yep, done. Okay, good. So hopefully I've shared that in a group, and I know we're gonna have a couple of people come on today. So just the normal bit of housekeeping. If you are joining me for the first time, please post in the comments #new. If you're watching it live, post #live, and if you're watching it on replay, #replay. So that would be awesome if you could do that. So again, just as a couple of people are jumping on, I kind of decided I wouldn't use my whiteboard today. I know most of you have been on my lives and you've seen me use my whiteboard. I like to do that. But today I just thought, I just wanted to talk to you guys just about attracting quality people into your life and into your business. So yeah, thanks. I know a few people were jumping on. Today's a webinar day. I've just done a 2-hour webinar. I got this one for 15-20 minutes. I've got another couple of hours webinars booked after this with somebody, and then gosh, busy day. It's been awesome. Just an update on what I've been doing. Went to Lake Como, got engaged. I think I've said that a few times on lives, but maybe just I'm really excited about it, and always helps that my fiance's on here. So also went over to Atlanta, met the billionaire Art Williams, and again got to sit and got coaching from him, which was fantastic. For those of you who don't know who Art Williams is, go onto YouTube and just type in Art Williams, do it, and he will, you'll see him. He's amazing. Got to be coached by all these $1 million earners and so on, and saw some just incredible people. There's one guy we saw there who his payroll for his business, which is kind of similar to what we do, is $30 million a month. That's where his team gets paid in commissions. So imagine that, having a business where your team gets paid is $360 million a year. So it was really, really huge. So that was exciting. And I've got to say, for all of us that went, it exploded our mindset, and we recognize that small is not big. And although we're having huge success over here, we're still really at the beginning of a journey, and that means immense opportunity. So that was quite exciting. Always great getting coaching from people who've just, led the way in especially in the industry that you're in beforehand, and whatever business you're in. There's a saying, find an expert in the thing you want to do and do exactly what they tell you. And just be coachable and work your butt off, basically. So this morning, thanks guys for all jumping on. It's great seeing kind of new names jump on and everything, which is awesome. But today I wanted to talk about, on top, I didn't finish where I was going. Went to Atlanta, then I went on a Mediterranean cruise with 200 other people that we all kind of went along and have an awesome time. And again, it's awesome hanging out with like-minded people and, picking their brains and sharing information and learning from each other. One of the things I would say is just never stop learning. Doesn't matter what level of success you have, just recognize that, you know this much and there's this much to learn. The great thing is, in what I do, this much is enough to make 6 figures, but I still got all this to learn. So I'm constantly trying to self-assess, develop myself in every area, from public speaking, Facebook Lives. I'm still an amateur at this whole Facebook Live thing. So, forgive me if, it's funny, when I started doing this, it was all kind of stuff going wrong. Like I was getting, at one point I had things stuck up on the screen. One of my first videos I did, I'm writing on the board and I didn't know that you could flip the screen around. And so I'm writing on the board, and as I'm writing, I'm thinking, why is the writing mirrored? That's not what's supposed to happen. So I kind of messed up that. But you know what? The great news is I was failing forward. I was stumbling forward. I was learning. And, I think I'm kind of got it now. I'm getting better. at doing it. I've got like a studio set up now and it's all good. And today I decided to go with my multicolored background instead of my typical blue one or my green screen or whatever. And hopefully you like that. So again, please feel free to comment, love hearts, and by all means, look me up on YouTube, because some of my previous lives I upload to YouTube, to my YouTube channel as well. So you can find stuff like, you know, I think there's one I did, how to pay your mortgage off quicker. And also I think one that went down really well was the how to create time. So I really enjoyed doing that one, and I learned a lot just doing it. So that was great. Right, so today is about how to attract you know, better quality people into your life. Now there's two things here. One of the things is you attract the people like you. And so the first thing you got to do in either your business or in your life in general, you got to ask yourself what your goal is. You know, I always talk about goals because I live a very goal-centric kind of life, you know. Morning, Alan. I live a very goal-centric life. We're a very goal-centric family. You know, our kids as young as 10 have got their own goals, mind maps, and we plan our goals for the year. We put our strategies together. We create advertising campaigns to ourselves to help inspire the desire levels so that we want to do the things we need to do. And so that's kind of what we do in our family. So I tend to relate a lot of things back to goals. So the first thing, if you want to attract certain kinds of people into your life, you need to ask yourself, what kind of people do you want in your life? So you got to have a goal. And maybe you say, well, I want, you know, positive people. I want ambitious people. So again, maybe for you, why don't you just post a couple of qualities of people that you think I would like to have in my life or in my business? Again, some of you go post that. You know, maybe it is people who are enthusiastic. Maybe it's people who are just really funny because you want to be made to laugh all the time. Maybe it's people that are they always reframe things to the positive. Maybe it's people that, you know, you can go drinking with on the weekend, whatever it is. You know, we've all got different goals. So when you think about who are the kind of people you want to attract into your life and into your business. So for example, if you have a business, you might think, well, I want people that are ambitious. Again, go ahead and write down or love heart or wave or whatever if you think ambitious might be something you're looking for in someone who is in your business. You want ambitious. Maybe you want somebody who's coachable. So this may be a good list, right, for someone to be in your business. Ambitious, coachable. Maybe you want somebody who is you know, tough. Someone that at the first hurdle, the first hot day, the first stressful situation, the first no, they don't crumble. You know, one of the things I learned from Art Williams, I loved, and I think I mentioned it last week, is that he was tough. He said, I'm going over there and you can come with me or just get out of my way because I'm going to go over you or through you to get there. I'm determined. And maybe one of the qualities you might be looking for in your business is someone who's tough. Maybe in your life it's someone who's encouraging because you feel like you need encouragement often. So have a think about the qualities you're looking for. So the first thing is the goal. Identify. In fact, I'll even say to you, maybe write down 3 qualities of somebody you're looking for right now, whether it be in life, in maybe even in a relationship. You know, I'm a big believer in you. You know, you put it out there to God, the universe, whatever your beliefs are, and you can attract these things and manifest them. And so, but the problem is most people don't really know what they want. I say, what kind of person do you want in your business? And they go, oh, I don't know. I mean, I guess someone who's really good. Well, what does good mean? So maybe you need to drill down a little bit and just identify 2 or 3 qualities. Now then so you know, you do that, okay? Then you've got to sort of ask yourself, well, if I were to write down 3 qualities about myself, what 3 qualities would I write down? And maybe even write them next to the 3 qualities you've written down about the people you're trying to attract. Then ask yourself, which of them match up? Maybe you say, I want someone who's ambitious and dynamic. And then you look at yourself and your qualities and you're pretty lazy. You're not really ambitious. But you think, I'll get an ambitious person because then I don't need to do much. Well, one of the things you've got to understand is that you attract people like you. There's this thing called, in fact, John Maxwell talks about the law of magnetism. You know, if you haven't read the book, the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, a great book to read. I'm just re-listening to it on audiobook now, actually. And one of the things he talks about is the law of magnetism. You attract what you are. So I remember when I was younger, I was a young boy, and I said to my mum, "But Mum, I don't have any friends." And my mum said, "Well, there's this principle called sowing and reaping. And it's this universal principle. And you reap what you sow. So if you want friends, what you need to do is you need to sow friendship. You need to be nice. You need to be likable. You need to just be a friend to people. And you know what? People will want to be your friend. And you'll get friends. You know, you can't get friends by being probably shouldn't swear, but idiot. Let's call it an idiot. You can't get friends by being unattractive. The way you attract people is you develop an attractive personality. So you got to ask yourself, well, what do people look for? Well, maybe they do want people that are positive. You know, I know most of us would like to hang around with positive people. So if you're not a positive person, well, you need to start working on yourself. Work on yourself so that you get better in these key areas. You know, one of the things John Maxwell talks about in leadership is that you've got to assess yourself as a leader. What level of leader are you? And there's a whole book about the different levels of leadership, 5 levels of leadership. But I'm just talking about scoring yourself out of 10 in different areas. What would you score yourself out of 10 as somebody with a positive attitude? You know, are you 50-50? Maybe sometimes you're positive, sometimes you're not. Or are you 7 out of 10? See, me personally, I could say probably I'm an 8 or 9 out of 10 in terms of positive attitude. I understand the principle of reframing things to the positive. I understand that when I get challenges, they make me stronger. I understand that the tests become my testimony. I understand that when a difficult situation arises, I get an opportunity to prove myself, to grow, to fall forward or fail forward. I get an opportunity to do that. So I understand that. So I'd say for me, I'd score myself really high on the positive attitude scale. You know, maybe what would you score yourself? Because if you're trying to find people with 8 or 9 positive attitude and you've got a 3, I'm not going to hang out with you. You know, if you say to me, "Hey Steve, can we hang out?" And I know you're someone that's always moaning and complaining about everything. You know, I remember there's somebody I know that every week they come along and they complain about something. And at first you kind of go, you cheerlead and you go, hey, but it's going to be great, And eventually it gets to a point where you think, oh, I don't want to talk to that person because they're depressing, man. I don't want those kind of people to talk to me. So you'll end up distancing yourself. Now, by the way, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying don't help those people, but I'm saying that there's a, again, I'm sure you've all heard this before, but I just kind of review it with you. But there's this whole 33% rule that 33% of the people in your life you should have as people that are a higher level than you that you can learn from. 33% should be people at your peer group at the same level as you, that you can learn and help each other and grow together. And 33% of people in your life should be people that are a level where you can help them. They're at a lower level than you. And, I realized when I learned that I didn't have that many people in that higher tier. I had loads of people in the middle and loads of people in the lower tier. And it was hard work because every time you're trying to, there's only so much negativity you can take. And so I had to make a conscious decision to change the circles of people that I associated with. So I started connecting with people that were more successful than me, connecting with people that thought at a higher level than me, that had higher levels of experience than me in life and business. And I changed those ratios. And it had a massive impact on my mindset and, just my general well-being, to be honest. But so if you are somebody who has a business and you say, well, I want to attract these level 7 out of 10 leaders or 8 out of 10 leaders, well, if you're a 3 out of 10, you're not going to attract people who are 7s. If you're somebody who's not a great leader and you're somebody who's not a great communicator, you're not the kind of person I'm going to look for to partner with. You're not the kind of person I'm going to look for. Now, don't get me wrong, that's not the only thing we're looking at. One of the big things I look at when I'm looking for somebody for my team, for example, is the number one thing I look for is desire. I'm looking for somebody who wants it, is desire. Because skills I can teach, mindset I can develop, but I can't do anything without desire. If you have the desire, if you're somebody who's a low-level leader and you say, look, I know I'm not that great at this, but I really want to learn, I really want to get better, well then, you know, that's cool. If you demonstrate that with your actions, I can help you. So I'll sow time into that person. You know, but remember, the proof of desire is pursuit. The evidence of your level of desire is from the action that you take. So you've got to ask yourself, you're looking for this kind of person that is enthusiastic, is ambitious, is coachable. Well, then ask yourself, how coachable are you to your leader, your trainer, your coach, your mentor? How coachable are you? You know, how ambitious are you? Don't look for people way more ambitious than you, because they're probably not going to be interested in working with you because they're more ambitious than you. They're looking way beyond you. So you've got to learn to change how you are in order to attract the people at a higher level. Another thing is, I mean, just basic stuff is, if you want people to like you, then be nice to them. Be friendly, be positive, be encouraging, be a friend. This is a big one. Smile. Smiling helps a lot, you know. So just little things, and also encourage people. One of the things, again, and I keep referring to Art Williams because he's very much in my brain at the moment. He says this: imagine everyone has a flashing sign on their chest that says, "Make me feel special." If you think about that and start helping people to feel special, well, guess what? Maybe they'll start feeling special. He also said, start thinking bigger for people. Maybe they'll just live up to your expectations. But really, you know, it's like if you're going to, you know, even when you're bringing people into your business or your team, you got to think about, and funny, if in my team training, we were just doing this earlier, we were talking about how you have different people at different levels, and don't discount anybody, but recognize that different people are going to do work at different paces, and different people are going to respond to different stimuli. So for example, one of the things that you don't do is you get a super ambitious, you know, fast-paced person and put them with a slow person. You know, or vice versa. You don't do that, because what happens then is they're going at different speeds. And so what happens is the fast-paced person, he looks at the slow-paced person and thinks they're just lazy. The slow-paced person looks at the dynamic, ambitious, fast-paced person and says, God, they're too much, they're too extra, you know, and it doesn't work. So what you've got to do is learn to connect people with the right mindset. You know, people maybe just a bit ahead of them is a good idea. So yeah, it's very rare that a positive and a negative person will attract each other. Sometimes you'll get people that get together like that, maybe even in relationships, and it just doesn't last unless somebody changes, because there's not synergy there. You see, there's nothing more powerful, I think, when you got like-minded people working together for a common goal. You know, in fact, actually, this is the definition of a mastermind group. Again, if you read the book, The Wisdom of Andrew Carnegie, as told by Napoleon Hill, or I think it's also called How to Raise Your Own Salary, it talks about this mastermind group. So again, one of the things you want to do in your business or in your life is have a mastermind group of people that you can share things with, that you can learn from, and that you've got a common goal, because it's so much easier. So, you know, I know that one of the reasons my family business works really well is because my mum, my dad, no matter what our challenges are in the business, we don't have egos, because at the end of the day, we've all got this common goal. So we have to learn that sometimes I'm right, sometimes my mum's right, sometimes my dad's right, and you know, you have to kind of concede that ground if your goal is actually to achieve the goal, and if your joint goal. But if you're not all aware of the goal, or if you're not all on the same track, that becomes problematic. If you've got a business and you're a leader in your business, you've got to ask yourself, what kind of leader are you? Hey, Michelle. What kind of leader are you? There's a great lesson, and maybe I'll teach this in next week or so, about the different levels of leadership. And people see you as a leader in different ways. And so, you know, again, without going into too much detail about it, but some people have got a title and they think a title makes them a leader. People are not attracted to titles. And there's a story about Saatchi and Saatchi, the advertising company, how there were the main guy, Saatchi, was, you know, they got together, they sacked him from the company, from what I recall. And what happened was a lot of their key accounts, people like British Airways, went with him. They just said, well, if you're getting rid of this main guy, we're going with him because he had influence. And what happened is the share price of Saatchi just tumbled because of losing all these things. So even though somebody else had that managing director or CEO position, they didn't have the same influence as Saatchi. So because of that, the business crashed. You see, leadership and influence is not about title, it's about influence. And that's why it's important you develop your influence, you develop your skill set to gain more influence. You become a more influential person. The more influential you are, the more you will attract people that are influential. The more leadership skills you have, the better leaders you're going to attract. By the same token, the better you are at other things, you'll attract those kind of people. I mean, I'm sure you've heard the saying that birds of a feather flock together. And it's the same with people. People like to hang out with people like themselves. That's why when you're in sales, for example, or presenting, they teach you how to mirror people. So, for example, when I was in the motor industry, when a little old lady came in and said that they wanted to buy a car, if you went to this little old lady and you went, oh, you want to buy a car? That's great. That's fantastic. You know, we've got amazing cars. The little old lady's going to be scared out of her skin and she's going to run out of the showroom, right? So with a little old lady that's going to talk at a slower pace, they tell you to mirror so that you go, oh, that's great. Well, what kind of car is it you're looking for? Come on, let's take a seat and find out. By the same token, if you get somebody coming who says, oh, I'm looking for an amazing car that's fast, it's a sports car, you don't go, oh, that's really nice. We've got some sports cars, but you've got to match the pace because remember, you're trying to build rapport, and building rapport is the first step to building relationship. And building rapport is easy when you are attracting people that are like you. So people like themselves. And so whether you're trying to present, then you've got to play that part if you like. But if you're looking for people to partner with in your business, or you're looking for people in your life, partner in your life, relationships, whatever it may be, or you're just looking to change your circle of friends, ask yourself the kind of friends you want, what their characteristics are, ask yourself how you rate on those characteristics too, and then if you don't rate very highly, you've either got to look at different characteristics, or if you really want those kind of people in your life, you've got to work on yourself to gain those kind of characteristics. Okay, does that make sense to everyone? I know I kind of went on a tangent there, but I just got excited, so hope you bear with me. Let me see, love hearts, thumbs up and all that kind of stuff, if that made sense, or if you got something from that. Thank you, Alan. Alan, really awesome to see you on the Mediterranean cruise last week. Really fantastic just hanging out with you and, you know, spending time with you and your family. And I'm glad you got back from Barcelona okay, because I knew you had to stay an extra day. So, but I know I'll definitely be seeing you on many more of those trips with hundreds of us. So that's awesome. Guys, anybody, you know, I don't normally do a Q&A, but have you got any questions? If you've got any, happy to take some. You know, for those of you that know me, I'm pretty transparent and I say what I think. And I kind of have this concept of, this is my theory, is that I'm going to be me. I'm going to say what I think. I mean, I'll try and be nice about it, but I'll give you my opinion. And if you like me, that's great. And if you don't like me, well, that's okay too, you know, because not everyone's going to like everybody. So as long as I'm comfortable with me, I'm pretty good with that. So, yeah, any questions? If you've got a situation maybe that you think, well, you know, I'm maybe not attracting the right people into my life. You know, maybe it's the wrong relationship partners. Maybe it's the the wrong business partners. Maybe you'll do some more research. Maybe you've got to get clearer about what it is you're looking for. For me, I've been in several relationships and I've messed up and failed in them, and it always takes two to fail, but I know that when I've been married in the past and I've it's not worked for whatever reason, I've got to look back, and it's easy to blame other people for those failures and say, well, if they didn't do this, that wouldn't happen, but at the same time, you have to take responsibility for your own actions and recognize that whilst, some people, and again, I don't know why I'm talking about this, but maybe it's for somebody. Some people say, gosh, well, I'm never going to get married again. I've been married a couple of times, and sadly, every time was for good for me, but didn't work out. But I didn't say, well, that's it, I'm never going to get in a relationship again. I just said, well, how can I be better? How can I learn from that? How can I maybe develop myself so that I become a better partner, a better husband, a better communicator, more romantic? I'm not super romantic naturally. It's something I've had to work at, but then when I got engaged, I made sure, I did pretty well. I went to Lake Como, balcony overlooking the lake, gourmet 11-course meal, amazing ring. I did pretty well on that, and I think my fiance's on here, and hopefully she's going to give me some love hearts and thumbs up to that to back me up on this. But, I did pretty well. Anytime you're ready, Isabel, it's cool. There you go. Phew. There you go. They're all coming up now. Brilliant. So, but the point is, I messed up in things, and I made wrong choices, and so did they, and unfortunately, that's life. But you just got to keep looking forward and reevaluate yourself, reevaluate your goals, reevaluate your relationships. Some of you have got relationships with people right now that you probably shouldn't have relationships with. And I'm not talking romantic. That's down to you, and I'm not going to tell you what to do on this. But some of you have got relationships, friends that are around you that don't really want you to win. People in your life that are saying, I kind of like the status quo where it is. I like that I earn more money than you. And I like that I drive a nice car than you. I like that I live in a bigger house than you. So I'm pretty happy with you staying where you are. These are not the kind of the people you necessarily want to hang out with. You've got other people who are kind of down at a different level, and they're saying, I really don't want you to leave me. I kind of like that you're down here and I can moan with you, and misery loves company. So I like that I can just have a complain about the weather or the council or whatever. I like that I can do that. So they don't want you to succeed either. Well, it's not about them. It's about you. It's about what you want to do. What kind of people do you want to attract? What kind of relationships do you want to have? Perfect, Julia. It's the crab mentality, referring to the crabs in a bucket. They chuck crabs in a bucket. They don't put a top on it, because every time a crab tries to crawl out, the other crabs pull them back down again. That's exactly what happens. So listen, I'm conscious of time. I'll go over every week. So I keep saying it's a 15-minute webinar, but I always do about 25 minutes. Maybe I need to change that. Hopefully I didn't keep you guys too late. Don't want to take too much time. Hopefully this is valuable. Next week, I think I will actually talk about the different levels of leadership. Something I got from John Maxwell. And by the way, awesome. Got to meet John Maxwell, leadership guru, when I was in Atlanta as well, which was fantastic. So yes, it's been recorded. Please rewatch again. And again, if you're watching, click replay. Please hashtag, please comment, please ask questions. I think I pretty much always respond to comments. So I welcome those, and thank you so much. And I will see you all next week on my Facebook Live. Take care, guys. Have a great week. Take care. Bye.